Dr. Lloyd Makangeni is a world-renowned global business consultant, keynote speaker, human behavior specialist, prolific author, government advisor, economic advisor, and global educator. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome Dr. Makangeni.
Depression is when reality don't meet with fantasy. Whatever that you have in your mind, your fantasies, things that you wish to do, that you want to do, and then when you check your reality, it's not matching up. People have got different depressions. There's financial depression. I think there's a lot of us here. There's financial depression, there is spiritual depression, there is relationship depression, there is marriage depression. That's why people are getting a lot of divorces. I wish if you know, I don't want to go into detail, but the book has it. The book, if you buy the book, you find everything. You're not created for a job, you're created for work. You know what you do. The problem that is that whatever that makes you wealthy, rich, successful, and so forth, it's never your job, it's your work. Nobody I know in the world is wealthy because they were working for it. I don't know anyone, except if you're a CEO. So now, whatever happens now with this is that the problem that a lot of us do is that when we don't find our work, okay, we've got our work, we find a job, we've got a job description, and then you can see that I can give more than this. I've got more intelligence, more mental repertoires to give out so that I can influence. Then what we do is this, when we are told no at work, no, it doesn't work, we go home and relax, or get mad, or say some things, or swear at other people and so on. You're doing it in the wrong way. That's wrong. You were not created for work. Now there's a job, right? So now every job, is there anything called a wrong job? No. Everything, I do a session where I do a consultation with different people, especially employees, where I connect your work and your job and how it's, your job and your work, and how what you're doing at your job helps you to get to your work. Is it making sense? Most of you here who are sitting here, you are not frustrated not because of your work or your job where you are. You're frustrated because there's something in the inside of you that you're not taking out, and you're looking at the wrong person to provide an opportunity for you. That's what is happening. So I'll show you as it goes. Depression is all about that. It's about, so I have my fantasies that I'm a speaker. Now I'm going to work where I'm employed as an investment analyst, and then I'm going to them and tell them about speaking. They're going, are you crazy? Are you okay? Go and do presentation, not speaking. Analyze, not speak. So now that's what we do. We go there and we try to give everything to these people. And when we fail in life to do what we are supposed to do, we blame everyone. My boss, my director, my supervisor. No, they didn't do anything to you, those people. They're also just doing their job. Let's talk about relationships, which I think most of us will have that. So relationships, the same thing. You as a person, depression is, marital depression, relationship depression is when you have your own marital fantasies in comparison to the reality. Now, here's an interesting thing. Here's an interesting thing in between. Here's an interesting stuff. So, each and every individual, where you are sitting, you've got two sides. You've got positive and negative. That's about you. You should have known that. So what we normally do when we meet a person for the first time, we show them their positive side about us. I am nice, I'm sweet, I am this, I'm that. You can say, mention all that. right? Same thing when you meet a next person. So when you meet that person, right, and you give them, you know, when the young people, when they go out, they call it dating, right? So you're dating, you have to look nice and all that. So even to make it worse, a guy will just go, but a lady has to take half a day just to sort them out, you know, sort themselves out, yeah, right makeup, right heel and all that. So when you go in and then you meet, you're going to say the right things that the person wanna hear. And then when you're now together, and then the negative side of them start coming out, you thought they've changed. They didn't change. They were like that, but you were so excited to the point that you forget that this person is for the other side of them. So most of the time now, I always have issues with different people, even counseling and all that. You see the reason why this one, there's an incident that happened in Val recently, where the guy killed the lady who was going to, yeah, I'm not sure if I heard it right. Was it, he's a doctor? Did he pay fees for the lady?
I'm not sure.
There was a mentioning of those. Yeah, so now, what normally happens with people when it comes to that, as you study, you've got your own fantasy in your head. To women, it starts when you're 5 years. You're watching a movie, Days of Our Lives, all this Inspire, and all this kind of nice movies. You read novels about fantasies, and then it so ends so well, and then his arms, he put me in his arms, he was so sweet, he was so this, he was so that. So in your mind, you've already, you know, decided who you're going to marry when you grow up. Yeah, there we go. You see, so now I have the person, but we forget one thing. In the world, this person exists only in your mind. That's a fantasy. But now, here's a bad thing about fantasies. I want you to listen to me very carefully, because that's what I say when I speak to people that are either being, you know, divorced and all that. Now, if you have a fantasy in your head, because they're positive, tall, dark, and handsome, you know, just like me, right? You know, but you forget something about me. There's something that you forget about me. I might be all that, and then I left out something. Godly, God-man, you know, what do you call it? Godly man, yeah. And then knowledgeable, intelligent, brilliant. Here's an interesting thing. The same person on the negative side is very argumentative. He argues. And according to you, you think he has got arrogance because you think he knows everything. Right? So now when we're together and then I'm telling you, no, that thing doesn't work. And I know you know everything, you know everything. No. When you chose me, you chose also the other side. Is it making sense to you? So now we are having now people even in marriage, having their marriage not working, end up in a divorce cases and so forth, because we have our fantasies in our head, right, of a person that we're about to marry. So now the bad thing that I was saying was, because it's a fantasy in your head, fantasies invite certain things of the opposite to balance it. You were meant to live a balanced life. But the problem is that you get excited to the point that the dopamine goes higher. When the dopamine is higher and the endorphin is running everywhere, the universe naturally, that's the way how it was created, it brings something opposite. So if you've got a fantasy of a person who's very loving, who's very this, who's very that, that's why you keep on attracting the opposite of them. They are coming to balance something in your head that needs to be balanced. Same thing in finances, same stuff. You are inviting, this is the fantasy you fantasize about, right? You need to be balanced. So circumstances and challenges come to balance you. You are supposed to function in a balanced way. That's the way how you're created. Science say it proves it even in a very nice way. So now, most of the time when you go for science and you're checking, what happens when somebody gets depressed? The reason why they can't tell you this, and the reason why even doctors, nurses, or healthy department people, they struggle with depression. If depression was cured, surely then they're not supposed to be suffering, right? They're supposed to be the first people to be healed and all that. But they're still suffering it because they couldn't define it. Now, I defined it. That means I've got a solution, isn't it? Yeah, because I defined it. So now, here's the thing. In science, we say, whenever you're balanced, right? You're balanced. And then you see something, a perception of something, like for example, let's say something happens to you, a breakup, divorce. You go on the left side, right? So it goes, because you're balanced, it goes on the left side. Then you release different substances in your body. Things like your substance P, things like your cortisol, they start coming into your body. That causes you to have pain, that causes you to be depressed. Right? What really causes depression? It's never the divorce. Divorce doesn't cause depression. I don't really care much about what you read in your books. Death doesn't cause depression. I'll tell you why. There's a saying that says, it's not what happened to you, it's how you handle what happened to you. You can have two people in the same environment, suffering the same thing, but they don't have the same result. One is okay, one is not. What caused that? Perception. So now, as you stand, you perceive something to say, this thing is going to bring pain into me because somebody has destroyed me. And then when that happens, your brain, because you're the one who's communicating with your body, this is natural science, it's just science, go read it. So your brain will release the substance P and cortisol, and you are starting to be bleeding inside, you've got pains and start having issues and all that side. How do we bring you back to balance? Now you need something. That is why our young people and different kinds of people, you see them end up taking drugs, doing nyaupe thing. You know what is the root problem to that? It's because when they're sitting, they look at their peers, they look at TV, people of the same age, they have got cars, they've got nice life, they're enjoying pleasure. The moment they perceive it to say, when they look at that fantasy, which is in their head, I want to have that, and they look at their reality, it's not matching up. So immediately, misbalanced. So in order for the person to come back, they take nyaupe. What does nyaupe do? What does drugs do? Yeah. It's the same thing with your antidepressive drugs. It's the same thing with some people who drink a lot of alcohol. It's the same thing when people engage intimacy. They release, because when that thing happens, when you take drugs, it releases another substance. And that substance, it involves the dopamine, adrenaline, and so oxytocin, it comes back, you start being happy. It balances you. So the tablets that people drink for antidepressive are just for them to come back. But the real problem is the person, they are holding a certain perception that they don't want to let go. Right? Are you with me? You have a certain thing, every time you're thinking, it's causing you pain. So you have to drink this to balance you. Because when you are balanced, that's where you operate. So is depression, can you be able to heal depression? If you ask now, can you heal depression? Can you? On your own?
Yes.
You understand? Most of the time you need to ask yourself a question. What is it, an idea or a perception that I'm withholding that is not real? You can move from one relationship to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, still getting the same results. The problem is not relationship, the problem is you. I can give exception for one, when something happens in a person, maybe was abusive and so forth. But I'm not saying this, please, disclaimer, I'm on record, I'm not saying, I don't support GBV. But within that process, there's a lesson you are learning. Every person is your teacher. Every time when you look down upon yourself, somebody will come into your life to beat you up. So that you wake up and realize who you are. Most of the time when a woman stands up and realizes who she is, that thing disappears. It's natural science. That's the way how you're created to become. Most of the time you put yourself down. Most of the time you're putting your gifts, your talents down. You look down upon yourself. So when you then attract somebody who will wake you up. People that you're in life are your teachers. Every day you meet your teacher. Somebody that you're meeting involved in a relationship is your teacher. They're trying to wake up something in you.
Hey.
The moment you just start to resurrect and take your place. Do you allow me to give you a quick example about you? Is it fine? Is it okay? Now she's made it to where she is today. I didn't know her like this. I I know at some point, I think many years, since 2009, until now, what she went through, I can witness that. But if I were to ask you, I have never asked you this question, but I just want to ask you, if you were to be, go back into your marriage, you know, will you go back?
No,
Why?
I've learned a lot.
There's something that is coming out of you. So most of the time you have it, but what made you not to have it? Association, we call them psychological association. Places you were raised, people you hang around with, those who raised you, they've said things that demean you. Most of us, we are having women awareness and so forth. You know why are we trying to correct that? Greeks. They came with that philosophy. Men are so powerful. When men are not, women are not, you must look down upon them. We are gods, you're not. So now, how do you correct this? Now we're starting to do women awareness and women empowerment. And sometimes when I listen to women empowerment, sometimes my heart bleeds. Because I'm sitting at this woman, and then they do it the wrong way about empowerment. Empowerment doesn't mean you're going to be better than your husband or man. That's not empowerment. If anyone tells you that, that's wrong. Empowerment is about being comfortable with who you are and become what God calls you to become. That's empowerment. So that is the thing that you were created to become, not this thing. So there's a lot of things that have affected you along. So how do you, I'm at a workplace, I need to narrow it. So how do you, when I'm at work here, how do I avoid work depression at work? It's very simple. It's very simple. Attach your work with your job. If you don't find anything interesting about going to work, I will tell you one thing that starting from tomorrow, you're going to be excited about. She said family is important. She said she wants to work for family and have money, have income to support her family. It's still one thing, family, right? That's what is important to her. Now, family is a calling on its own. You're supposed to raise champions, people that are going to do it in life. So the same people that you're raising today, that is the next generation tomorrow, they need to grow. But they need you to be in your sanity in order for you to raise them. Right? So now, I connect my work to my job. What is it my job is giving me towards my work? Are you with me? I'll give an example for something else. So now, I'm waking up in the morning. I'm not focusing on the frustration I'm getting, the target. I'm focusing at the end, my work. How is it supporting my work? How is my job supporting my work? So, in your case, it's giving you money. In your case, it's giving you resources to grow the family. Okay? I'll take it another way around so that we can get to where we go. I'll give you a good example of myself, let's say, or Mr. Radebe is here. So he's with his own company and he's into wellness and speaking engagements, right? So now, at where he is working, what is it doing the work? Even if you don't seem not to like the work. But the moment you connect your work to your job, to your work, this is how you do it. My job is giving me the money to sponsor my work. In other words, my job is giving me money to do website. My job is giving me money for traveling to do my work. Are you following? Your job sometimes is giving you for you to contribute towards your education, so that whenever you have got your work, you do it properly. Is it working? So nobody's fighting you. You're just misplaced mentally. So you're all having these social things and having fights and all that. It's because you hate to admit that you don't know what you're doing. Honestly, that's what it is. All of you here, you have got a potential of becoming whatever that you want to have. The only problem is that the method you're using is not the right way. Your work, your job, where you're going, that's the thing. So it works again in Greek, it works in depression. Everything is connected. There's nothing that is disconnected there. In depression, same thing. So I think I'm about to, wrap it up and all that. So now let me come back to the book and depression and so forth. So now, because a person has got fantasies and then reality, your perception is affected by your beliefs and your assumptions and your values. Can you see that what I'm seeing here in my perception, my values is what? Reading, studying, research, and so forth. So when I'm walking, because it's in me, my perception sees books. It's very important to check what you value. What is it that you always chose first? Listen to the people when they talk. There are certain things that are important to them. So values, we call that the study of axiology, right? A value is something that is very, very important. I'm not talking about things that you say. The reason I asked for a reason when I asked her, it get in touch with yourself.